continue on till 6 p.m. And at 6 p.m. inshallah we break for Salat al-Asr and dinner. Okay, inshallah. So inshallah the other attendees will roll in. But anyway, we have to continue on. The show has to go on, inshallah, and I hope they join us soon. So, given the initiation process, right, that we covered so far, how would you deal with these different scenarios? Okay, so we have a number of scenarios here. If someone comes up to you and they just want a yes or no answer, so I need a volunteer. Okay, Ali. Okay. It'll be very short.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you a quick question. Okay, so I just want a yes or no answer. Okay. Does your Quran encourage terrorism?
No. But you have a few minutes to talk about that.
No, I just wanted a yes or no answer.
Well, the answer is no.
The answer is no. Okay, that's it. Go say it. Okay. So in this case, it was kind of easy, but there are situations where it's like, I can't just give you a yes or no answer, right? And the way you want to deal with this is sometimes like people just forcefully want a yes or no answer. Just, I don't want to hear anything. Just give me a yes or no answer. You know, are you supposed to be your wife? Does the Quran encourage it? Whatever, anything about Islamic misconceptions or whatnot. So the way you want to deal with someone coming up to you and just demanding a yes or no answer is to simply explain to them that, well, not everything has a yes or no answer. For example, what is your age? Right? What's your favorite color? Right? All these kind of questions. What's your grandma's name? For example, all these are questions that don't have just a simple yes or no answer. Yes or no answer. What is your view on abortion? Right? You support abortion? Yes or no? I mean, sometimes things need further elaboration. So you want to explain that to the person. There is more to be discussed. All right. So I heard you want to kill our babies. So let's say we need another volunteer. Let's try this out. Okay, Brother Siddiq. So you can stay there, inshallah. Okay, so Brother Siddiq. Hey, so quick question about Islam. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay, so
How are you?
I'm alright, thank you. I don't really care. Listen. That was really harsh, right? So I just have a quick question. And the reason why I said I don't care is because I heard that you want to kill our babies. Is that true?
That is not true, brother. We don't want to kill any babies.
I am not your brother. Okay, so you don't want to kill babies?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Do you have anything else to tell me?
If you want, we could help clear up any misconceptions you may have. You have a few minutes. I can go over any other questions you have.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So you see what Brother Siddiq did there? He actually replied back accordingly. This is how I was going to explain it. Is when someone says, I heard you want to kill our babies or something really extreme like that, you don't go saying, well, that's an interesting question. In order for you to understand the answer to that question, you want to say, of course we don't kill our babies. No way, we don't drink the blood of our babies. No. Right? So you want to say, you want to deny it. You want to reject. You want to put hardcore rejection there and say, no, we don't kill our babies. In fact, we are told to raise our children with humility, with sincerity, with love and compassion and care. Right? And then you say, so if you do want to know more about Islam in general, I think it's very important for you to understand the fundamentals of Islam first. Do you have a few minutes to discuss? All right, that's how you want to approach it. So this is just to go to show you that you can't just, blindly use the Gorak method either, right? You have to apply it accordingly. All right, how do you know God exists? Let's try this. Another volunteer. Okay. Your name again, brother?
Daniel.
Daniel, okay. So brother Daniel, so quick question, I'm an atheist. I have a quick question. You're a Muslim, right?
Yes.
Okay, so there's obviously theories and stuff, but how do we know that God actually exists? We're working on initiation right now, right? So just keep in mind.
Well, that's a great question, but if you understand the Muslim perspective of God, I think it'll make more sense to you.
Okay, beautiful. I like the way he presented it. It's simple, it's straightforward, right? And he talked about, hey, if you want to understand the concept of God, it'll make your kind of contention kind of easier to understand. So, and again, you can apply your personality, your own way of articulating it and saying it. That is a Gorak method, right? So take it how you like, take it as a tool, and use the tool, in whichever way that you feel befitting. So think of it as for example, a screwdriver, right? And you're trying to screw in a nail, right? So some people like to stand this way, some people like to go this way, right? Some people, if they're weird, they'll go this way. So just to show you that there are different approaches utilizing the same tool. Okay, so that's kind of the idea here is it's a tool, use it accordingly, use it to your benefit in the conversation to ultimately reach the end goal, which is Tawheed, which is calling people to Islam, calling people to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah.
Can you ask the other side of this question? So how do you know God doesn't exist?
You can, sure, but you're falling into a fallacy. It's called the burden of proof fallacy, because you know, they are the ones kind of asking you, right? So the burden of proof would then fall on you because you're the one claiming that there is a God. That's a whole different thing. This goes into like logic and reason, right? This would be, inshallah, a more advanced course. You can say, well, you have no way to disprove God. Anyway, we're going to get into God's existence very soon and how to kind of deal with that, inshallah, how to approach that. So, let's finish this. Let's have a practice session, inshallah, with passive, just to cover either passive, active. Let's do one of each, passive, active, and common sense. So I need 2 volunteers up here, inshallah. New volunteers. Okay, bismillah. Please, brother, come up. Yes, come up. All right, so one of you have to play the Muslim, the other one plays the non-Muslim. And what we're going to focus on is just the initiation part and the common sense agreement. So just what we learned in terms of initiation and common sense. So one of you, who will play the non-Muslim?
I mean, I could play if you want.
You want to do non-Muslim?
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll be the non-Muslim, you'll be the Muslim. And what we're going to do first is we're going to do passive, okay? So passive is you're the one that's going to ask the question. Okay, so you ask him a difficult question. Think of like, you know, a controversial question, and then you're going to respond according to what we learned,
Yeah.
the initiation process. Okay.
How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Brad, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Well, nice to meet you, Omar. A few questions.
Yeah.
I saw your booth here. I thought maybe I'll ask some questions about Islam that always bother me. One of the questions is I see Muslim women, they wear that thing on their head. Why do Islam force the subjugation of women?
Well, you see, you know, the reason why, you know, women, you know, they wear the thing in their head and cover their body is because they want to cover their beauty. That's the main thing.
Their hair doesn't have beauty. Why do they have to cover their hair? Why can't they just wear modest clothing? I can get that part. But why just hair? I don't get that. I feel like you're subjugating the woman.
I mean, the hair is part of the beauty, that's we believe. That's
I see it differently. I don't
That's
see it that way. I just feel like maybe your face, you know.
Well, you see, the only parts that, you know, the women can show is their 2 things. 1, their face, and 2, their hands. That's it.
I see a lot of Muslim women who don't do that. So I mean, are they forced to do it? The one that are wearing it, the thing on their head, versus other women like in college and at work. I see Muslim women without wearing anything on their head. So I'm just understanding what causes some of them to wear it.
Well, you see, you know, some, you know, women, you know, they say they're not ready for it.
Okay, pause. What's happening here? Hold on, what's happening?
He's falling into a trap.
Okay, what's the trap?
The question, I mean, he just.
The endless cycle
endless
of
cycle
questions, right? So how do we deal with this?
Yeah, you have
Has
to
to go
you
back
have
to
simply
the Tawheed.
ask him, yeah.
So initiation, right? Initiation. This is passive now. So how do you deal with it? How do you kind of like, all right, I'm not going to answer every question right now. This person barely knows about Islam. Not you personally, brother, but you know, him as an actor, he doesn't know about Islam. So how do you deal with it? You recall?
We will call Tawheed.
The fundamental of Islam.
Right.
The basic.
Okay, so let's reverse the role. Can you play the non-Muslim?
Yeah.
And then you play the Muslim. Let's try again. So ask him a difficult question.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Uh, so, I see you, you know, you have a, you know, very long beard.
That's not long, but yeah. The beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So.
You're one of the long
So, how does, you know, your prophet, whatever, you know, how you say his name?
Prophet Muhammad.
Prophet
peace be upon
Muhammad.
him. Yes.
Yeah, about him. Why would he let you, you know, allow you, you know, tells you to grow a beard? Why is that?
Why is that? So the beard, your Islam, right? Your piety is not necessarily in your beard, but the Muslims, obviously, the closer you are to the religion, the more you try to follow it, right? So we know that the Prophet, peace be upon him, and not only Prophet Muhammad, but many of the other prophets also had a beard, right? You look at, for example, even sometimes they depict Prophet Jesus, peace be upon him, what do you see? He has a beard as well, right? Even Moses, you see, you know, they depict Moses in movies and stuff. He has a beard. So, you know, historically, the prophets
Initiation,
had beard.
But focus on
Right.
initiation.
Okay. So even before I guess we get into the beards, I think the main focus is maybe perhaps you want to learn the fundamentals of Islam.
Yes. God.
Right, about God, and then we can talk about the beard, right? But would you be interested in learning about, you know, what Islam teaches? What are the fundamentals of Islam? Because beard is not one of the fundamentals of Islam. So perhaps you need, before you get to the beard, perhaps learn about, you know, what the Muslims
Yeah.
believe in and the oneness of God.
Good. MashaAllah. Excellent. So this is the technique, brothers and sisters. That's what we want to learn. Good. Now, I like how he began kind of like talking about the beard a little bit, and that's okay to do. Like, we're not saying don't deal with the question. Deal with the question, but don't go into useless argumentation. Talk about it, maybe like 1 or 2 points, okay? And then say, all right, let's go back. All right, you're interested in Islam, you have a question on Islam, let's learn about the fundamentals of Islam first, and then we can get back to that afterwards. And the reason being, brothers and sisters, because, you know, they have a different, you know, type of glasses that we wear, right? So they're wearing their glasses, we're wearing our glasses. We have the Muslim lens. They don't see things the way we do. We have, alhamdulillah, hidayah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted us hidayah, He has given us the Quran, He has given us the prophetic narrations. We are very aware and conscious of Islamic theology, alhamdulillah. We know about the fiqh, we know about the rulings, we can understand where the misconceptions are, why they believe this, but they don't see things the way we do. So picture, just to give you an analogy, someone wearing glasses with green tints versus someone wearing glasses with red tints, right? So pretend we're the ones with the green tints are seeing the red. Red is like warning, right? Whereas green is like green light, just to give you the color analogy there. But the point is, we have different tints on our glasses, and they don't see things the way we do. But once they do see things the way we do by taking our glasses, here, wear our glasses, then it's like, all right, I understand now. Okay, so now I understand the Prophet ﷺ married Aisha because at that time there was a historical context, the age of consent, you know, at that time it was accepted within the entire sociological construct. Muslims and non-Muslims alike, this was a very common practice. It had nothing to do with Islam. Okay, I get it now. Okay, I understand why prophecy upon him, he was a prophet of God. You know, I understand the Quran. I'm just taking, you know, some of the context out of, you know, I'm not looking at the scholarly consensus on the verses and what they actually mean. I'm not looking at the linguistics behind the verses, the purpose of revelation, the verse before it, the verse after it. Okay, things are making sense to me now, right? So they don't see things the way we do. And this is why it's very important for us to kind of go through this. So what you want to do is first reject, if they bring something false about Islam or a misconception, so reject it, clarify it briefly, and then get into the method. We need to move on. So, again, our ultimate goal, the main goal, again, is to call people to Allah. But from a dawah perspective, more so, it's to awaken the fitrah, and we're going to get there soon. So it's important to note that the rational arguments for the existence of God are a means and not an end. Okay? The end goal is to awaken the truth from within. So you want to awaken the fitrah. That's the end goal. Right? We want to awaken the fitrah because right now, they have a fitrah, right? Every human has a fitrah. And this is based on the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. He said, كُلُّ مَوْلُودٍ يُولَدُ عَلَى الْفِطْرَةِ. The Prophet ﷺ said that every son of Adam is born in a state of natural inclination, a natural disposition to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to submit to Allah. But it's how they're raised that changes them, right? Their upbringing. So the Prophet ﷺ said this, when he spoke the truth, when he said, every child is born in a state of fitrah. كُلُّ مَوْلُودٍ يُولَدُ عَلى الْفِطْرَةِ. And then when they get older, their parents, يُهَيِّدُوا يُنَصَّرُوا, they make him a Jew, they make him a Christian, etc. Buddhist, a Hindu. So the point is that people are born in a state of fitrah. The infant is born in a state of submission, knowing what to do, right? Wanting, you know, to leech onto its mother, wanting to cry when it needs help. This is all pure submission. It's pure submission to that which how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has designed and created the infant. As it gets older, it's now socialized and indoctrinated sometimes into a specific worldview or belief. So then that fitrah becomes clouded. It becomes clouded with upbringings, you know, specific teachings, right? They're taught, they go to Sunday school, Jesus is God, Jesus is the Son of God, right? Trinity doctrine. Or maybe they're influenced by atheist parents, there is no God, don't believe in a God. Religion is bad. So their fitrah is clouded, because that's what they're taught growing up. Or it could just be over time. You know, perhaps an atheist lost his grandma at the age of 4, or his mother even, right, or sister or whatnot. And that one thing made them realize, or made them think like, hey, this doesn't make sense. Like, I'm a good person. What did I ever do to lose, what have I done to lose my dear beloved mother at this age? Like, there can't be a God. So this is called the problem of evil, or the problem of suffering, right? Or why is this all this suffering? Why are there so many problems? Why all this chaos that exists around the world? So then they reject God because of this reason. So that becomes more of a psychodynamic thing. It becomes more of a personal matter. And sometimes you just need to deal with that person on a personal level and have a conversation with them. And it's interesting because I'll give you a story of Hamza Zordis, Ustaz Hamza Zordis, who is the leading Ayur instructor in the UK. He told us a beautiful story. He said that he was once giving dawah to an atheist, someone who was brought up actually in a Muslim household. I think of the Pakistani background. And he was at a wedding, or at some kind of dinner, and they were talking, right, about God's existence, His oneness, etc. And they were having a very interesting, intellectual conversation with Islam, reason, philosophy, all the above. But it came to a point where this person just kept going on with the arguments. So Hamza